Hello, beautiful sacred feminines. Thank you so much for being here with me today. I wanted to do a little continuation of my last video. I touched on addiction and self-worth and the shame and guilt that comes along with addiction and the really low sense of self-worth. One doesn't really get into addiction situations when they're feeling great about themselves, when they're feeling loved and cherished and held by the world and like they belong and, their hearts are full. It comes from a place, addiction is something to try to fill the void, and addiction can take on many different forms, some more socially acceptable than others. A lot of people, food is one of them, shopping, alcohol. There's a lot of alcohol addiction that kind of slips under the radar because so much of our social activity revolves around drinking and food. So, it's just kind of in our, what's the word I'm looking for? It's just what we do, so it seems completely acceptable and normal. And some people might not even realize how much a problem somebody might be having with that. And then there's the other types of addictions that aren't so, socially acceptable, like drugs. And depending on what drugs you want to talk about, cannabis is becoming more and more acceptable all over the place, and that is quite an addiction. It can be quite an addiction. And I know people think like, oh, cannabis isn't addictive, and that's not true. You tell somebody who smokes regularly and you try to take their pot away, they're not going to be okay with that at all. There's going to be quite some issues. So but anyways, along with the addiction to fill in the void, to attempt to fill in the void, we can really end up in some deep, dark places. And not only just like physically, like if we end up on the streets or in jails, like my personal experience, but just in deep, dark places within ourselves, just the shame and blame and guilt, again, like I was talking about, but just that deep insecurity and lacking confidence and courage to be who we truly are, not feeling lovable, not feeling accepted, not feeling like we belong or we fit in. A lot of times people will drink or do drugs to fit in, or they'll eat foods to help them feel more grounded or like they belong, to fill that void also. But so I go into that quite a bit more in my last video, so I won't repeat all of that here. But what seems to be coming up for me, and it keeps being like quite a theme, is just the need to let go of that kind of guilt and shame. I've done a lot of work around this myself personally, but it's kind of one of those things that kind of stays in there. It's in the unconscious, and more of it comes to the surface and more of it comes to the surface. But we're in this powerful eclipse gateway right now. We just had the Aries solar eclipse, and now we are coming into the Scorpio lunar eclipse. Scorpio is all about deep diving. It's about transformation. It's about rebirth. It wants to go deep. It wants to get under there, under the unconscious. It wants to get deep down in there and pick it apart and see what's going on. It's very it's like a detective, what is causing the issues in Scorpio. We'll get in there. I personally have my sun, Mars, and Venus in Scorpio, and Pluto in the 8th house, which is total Scorpio. So my energy is all about Scorpio and deep diving and getting into there. So I'm really working with this energy, and it's really unearthing some things for me and things that I thought I'd work with, and I have worked with them, but again, we get to different layers, and it just keeps coming up, this addiction thing. So I was just watching a little video, Russell Brand, I don't know if you're familiar with him, but he has a history of addiction. He's an actor and definitely on a spiritual path, and he's doing a lot to bring truth into the world and bring different perspectives on kind of like the mainstream media, and really raising our consciousness around what's going on and looking at different narratives than the one that we've been handed. And he really gets into it. And I look up to this guy. I think he's doing some really great things in the world and really bringing some beautiful, beautiful stuff to our awareness and important things to our awareness. Maybe not beautiful, but important. And it's not really so beautiful. It's kind of like, the darkness that's lurking beneath the mainstream media, beneath the government, what's really underneath there. Very Scorpio. I wonder if he is a Scorpio, but very scorpionic energy is getting under there and bringing the truth to light, helping us to see and have a lot more clarity around what's going on. But he has a history of addiction. And he was just talking to, I think it was Rainn Wilson, who's another actor. Same thing, history of addiction. Got both of them got really their spiritual path, their start in 12-step programs, and that's my story too. Through the addiction, I came to this 12-step program, hitting rock bottom like so many times. I mean, being in jail, that's pretty far down there. Being on the streets, dumpster diving, digging in dumpsters, that's pretty damn low. That's not my prouder moments, but that's where I was. My mind was really whacked out on really gnarly substances, and that was like normal. Somehow that was normal when it's anything but that's just how low I'd gotten and how whacked out in my mind. And the people I was hanging out with, we were all in the same just really whacked out mindset, and it's a whole nother realm really that I was exploring. So to have these two people, both of them very seemingly successful, actors, we think of people in the public view, like, oh, they're a successful actor, they've made it. This Rainn, I think it's Wilson, in The Office, I don't know if you're familiar with that, and tons of movies and other TV shows, just like really out there doing it. But a history of addiction, like, it's kind of, I think so many of us, like, really sensitive people, and we are spiritual people, and we came into this world like really lacking something because it's not very supported in our society. So in a way to deal with our sensitivities and that emptiness and that void and that disconnect, we turn to drugs and alcohol to try to fill that and to try to find it, because it kind of works in the beginning. It really works in the beginning. So we're like, yeah, finally I feel like I belong. I feel okay to be in my body. I feel like I'm not such a freak, I'm not so, I can actually like myself when I'm like this, when I'm like, numbed out. So, it makes sense. But of course that doesn't go well because it's not a healthy way to be. And those substances are not good for us, just they're not good for body, mind, and spirit. So, and they don't fit in, well, they do fit in with society. It's funny because so many people are on them, but, ultimately, it's not the answer. So it does not go well, and for some of us, we take it to the extreme. I mean, that's what I did. I went all in. I was just, that's how I do things. That's part of that Scorpio energy too. Just like go for it. I wanted to see how far I could take it. And, so that's what I did until it was time to stop, and luckily I did, because a lot of people don't, and they end up dead or really in jail for a long time, or or just stuck in that lifestyle forever, stuck in their addiction forever until they die. So the point being, so many of the people that I look up to and that inspire me and motivate me and get me thinking have a history of addiction. They have a history of homelessness. They hit rock bottom, or they didn't fit into society, so they ended up in different parts of it, kind of on the outskirts, on the fringes, the periphery. They until they found their spiritual connection, and they found that way to really fill their hearts and nourish their hearts, and they found that deep connection, that from within, not from external things, substances, not from food, not from unhealthy relationships, codependency. There's so many things that we can get addicted to and stuck in really unhealthy things. It doesn't have to be like substances. It can be people. We get really addicted to unhealthy people, and that can really screw us up and really whack out our world, but again, that's very acceptable because so many relationships are just not healthy. They're very codependent, but it looks normal because we've learned it from the media. We've learned it from our family. We've learned it from all the modeling around us. We learn these behaviors. It's all very learned. And some of that goes worse than other things. And some of it just is kind of okay enough to keep going, so people stay in those relationships even when they're not healthy, because they're not like horrible. I'm not being physically abused. He's not cheating on me, she's not cheating on me, so I guess this is normal, this is okay, right? Because it's what I see, it's what I've learned. So the point being, coming back to that the internal sourcing from within, not from without. That's where I was going with that. Thanks. I can get a little excited. But I keep getting these little messages coming in about this addiction piece that is stuck in my background. And I drew a card today. I don't know if you follow me on Instagram, but I did a little video on it. I pulled an oracle card for us, and it was release. Hold on one second, because it's right here. Okay. I don't know if you can see that. Wash away your burdens. I don't know, that might be backwards. I don't know how it shows up for you when I actually put this up online. So, wash away your burdens. Lovely. And the 67. This is full-on props here to Raven Fallon, Messenger Oracle. Lovely, sweet little deck. And just nice, kind of smaller, not like huge. Some of my Oracle cards are like, there's 4 pages of information. And that's like, I love that, because again, that intense Scorpio, like, give me all this stuff. But sometimes just something nice and short and sweet to meditate on is really lovely. So it was a perfect freaking message. As you have moved through life, you have undoubtedly experienced moments that have inspired feelings of regret, remorse, shame, and guilt. You have made promises you have not been able to keep. You have judged and blamed yourself and others. You have burdened yourself with feelings born of acts that cannot be undone, which still bind you to the past. It is time to forgive. It is time to lie down in the healing waters and let them wash away your burdens so you can move forward with spirit cleansed. So that, coupled with all of the things that have been coming through with the addiction stuff, it's just like, it is time to freaking let go of that, let go. So many people work with this. There's nothing to be ashamed about. It was how I was dealing with my, my trauma, my emptiness, my hurt, my grief from my adoption, being put up for adoption. I was just dead and empty inside, and I felt so abandoned, so unworthy, so unloved, so not cared for, so not cherished. I didn't value myself. I didn't feel valued. I didn't feel like I belonged in this world. My mother didn't want me. That's what my story was. So there must be something wrong with me, right? I mean, how else do I make sense around that at that young age? I always knew I was adopted. So, since I was very, very, very young. So I could not ever really piece it together. I would ask my mother, like, is my mom coming back for me? Did I do something wrong? Does she not like me? That's where I took it. And, I suppose, sure, I could have taken a different direction, but that's what I did. So, and I just deeply internalized something wrong with me, and that I didn't fit and didn't belong. And I felt very out of place in my family. I felt like my brother and sister belonged there. I felt like everybody belonged there except for me. I just felt I was a black sheep. I don't know. What are you going to do? So that's how it was. And to fix that feeling in myself, to feel like I finally belonged, drugs and alcohol really fit that. And getting involved with really unhealthy, abusive relationships, because I was connecting with people who were also feeling not valued and cherished, and they were acting out their traumas. So it was just a big old shit show, excuse me, but we were all just acting out our crap on each other. It wasn't pretty, but I've moved through that. I connected. I found my spirituality. I found the truth. I found what really works, and started through my path and through my healing journey to really start to love myself and value myself and know that I'm worthy. I do belong here. I'm awesome. I'm amazing. I'm beautiful. I'm cherished. I'm held. I'm supposed to be here, So I know. And now it's time to let go of that underlying stuff that still kind of lurks in there. So I wanted to get on here and talk about it. And what do you have that going on under there? What's, keeping you from really shining your light bright and stepping strong into who you're here to be? What kind of guilt and shame and unworthiness is lurking beneath there? Like, this is an excellent time in this Scorpio eclipse coming up, because it's going in there. It's getting in there. Take advantage of this energy. It's here to support us. It's intense. Scorpio is a very intense energy, but utilize it. If we sit down, and we don't have to sit down, go on a retreat for 10 days. Just sit down for half an hour. Tap into the energy, and if you can do it daily for the next up through the 5th, even after, it's great, because we're in it. We're going to be in it. Take some time. Just write to yourself. Just write out, how do I feel unworthy? What do I need to release? What is underneath? Do I feel guilt and shame about anything that is ready to go? What is ready to go right now? And if you just start off with that, and then open up and let it come through. See what comes through, and you'll have the answers. Your guides, yourself. I say your guides, I say source, but I just mean your higher self. It's you. You know exactly what you need. And so if you allow yourself space, it's going to come through, and you're going to see. And just the act of writing it releases it. It gets it out of there. Once it's up into your conscious, now you can really start working with it. And then you can set intentions around this Scorpio eclipse, if that's your thing. I set my intention to release this. Please help me let go. Show me what I need to do to release this energy. Please help me. Ask for help. Ask for help. There's so many amazing frequencies around to help us, Ask your higher self for help. Talk to your heart. Help me release. Help me connect with you. Help me let go of what I'm holding on to that is not serving me in my highest good. It doesn't have to be that complicated to work with this stuff. Actually, the more simple we make it, the much easier it's going to be for us to tap into it and to do it. It doesn't need to be a big thing. So part of my process is getting on here and talking to you about it. This is releasing it and clearing it for me. And hopefully, connecting with you in a way that brings it up to the surface for you too, and maybe sparks something like, I'm kind of holding on to this too that actually isn't serving me, and I could let that go. We've all got shit, right? I mean, we've all got stuff. We all got stuff. And I say S word and F word, and and there's sometimes in the back I'm like, oh, are people going to be bothered by that? I need to not worry about that kind of stuff. We're trying to be ourselves, and if some F-bombs fly when I'm getting really passionate about what I'm sharing about, there, so be it, Goodness. Those are the ways that we're always kind of policing ourselves. Like, is this acceptable? Do I fit in? Will this be okay? Am I going to be judged for that? Wow, I'm so just trying to get over that, I need to be me. You need to be you. And whoever is connecting to that, whoever resonates with that, they're going to resonate. And that's it. I don't want to be around people that I have to be fake around, right? I don't want to stifle myself. I don't want to put myself in a little box. I don't want to be acceptable, That and that's what leads to the drugs. That's what leads to the unhealthy patterns, because it's a way to just let loose, because we've kept ourselves just so like, so we do things, we overeat because we at least can let go into it, we can just let go into it, even though it doesn't really feel good. We can just go behind closed doors and just eat, something. Dealt with that one myself, if you can't tell, anything to try to release. And so I need to catch myself always when I'm doing things like that, worrying about what my wording is. Will I look professional if I say fuck? Who cares? Professional. What the heck does that mean? And that's the other thing. A lot of the people I look up to, they're dropping F-bombs and they're saying, and it just makes me feel so good. Like, thank you for being real, Thank you for being real. And that doesn't mean everybody says those words. Maybe it just doesn't resonate for some people. It's not like you have to say that to be real, but just be authentic. Whatever is your languaging, shoot. This is what we're really working with and really trying to let go of, and that's what I'm talking about here. So, yeah. So what are you ready to release? What are you holding on to? Where is the unworthiness that's running beneath the surface? What's keeping you in a little box? What's keeping you from just shining your light brightly, How do you hide yourself? How do you limit yourself? How do you keep yourself small? How do you censor yourself? How do you keep yourself trapped in old behaviors, old patterns that just really aren't really feeling right and feeling good, And I know we get scared of losing friends, losing family members, losing a job, losing something, but at what price? We're going to give up ourselves to hold on to that. And I understand family is a little more challenging because, there are families. So I get that. I work with that too, really trying to be myself around my family. And I don't even, I know there's ways that, like my aunt, it scares her the way I live my life, like living in a shuttle bus and just being out on the road by myself as a female and not having any idea where I'm going or what I'm doing and just no schedule, no plans, I don't have it figured out. I don't need to have it figured out. And that works great for me. I freaking love it, but it really freaks her out and she doesn't get it. And she's been really working with that and just, accepting. And it's not like she doesn't love me or anything. It just scares her, and it challenges her. So I totally get that, but I'm not about to keep myself in a little apartment just to make sure that everybody in the family is comfortable with how I'm living my life, and those are the kinds of things. So those are the kinds of things that we do because we're worried about what people will think or how it will affect them, because the last thing in the world I want to do is cause my aunt any stress. No, of course not. I love her dearly, and it pains me and saddens me that anything I would do could ever cause her stress. That does not feel good to me. So, but I'm not going to keep myself in a little box just to not cause stress to anybody around me, I'm not intentionally causing stress. I'm not setting out to harm, Everybody's reaction is their own reaction, their own stuff that they're working with, right? And we cannot take that on. We absolutely cannot take that on. We are not responsible for that. It doesn't mean we just say, go nilly-willy and just whatever happens, well, it's not my responsibility. That's not what I mean. But we all, as adults, are responsible for our own emotions and our own reactivity, And I am trying to just, kind of teach by example. And eventually she's seeing that there's nothing to worry about with me being out here, and she's relaxing around it now. And she's excited about it. She's looking at shuttle buses and school buses and sends me information. So, it's just, we're on we come from two very different times, generations and just different minds, different thought patterns and thought processes. So, and so we just need to kind of appreciate where the other is at, I don't need to react to how she's being affected and vice versa. So I got off on that to say that I know family it's easier to let go of friends. Not always easy. That's not what I'm saying. But, friends and jobs and external circumstances of family we're definitely a much more bonded, and it's easier to get into those unhealthy patterns and codependency patterns around family because they're our family, we're kind of bound in this lifetime with these different individuals. We came in with them and we said, yeah, I'm going to spend my life with you, so we really need to work with that in a healthy way and recognize when we're being codependent and doing for them, doing our lives so as not to upset them, or when too much of our life revolves around their reaction to our lives. So that is not healthy, and we don't want to get to the end of our life going, oh, I really wish I would have. You know, that's the biggest thing for me. I do not want any regrets in my life. I would rather try these things. I'd rather head out in my shuttle bus and fail epically than to not try at all. So another important thing for this Scorpio energy, yeah, we went through it. Like, where are you holding yourself back? Where are you living for others? Where are you keeping yourself small? Where are you stuck in the past? Where are you reliving these patterns that you've recognized? Some of it's unconscious. We don't see all of our patterns, of course. We're way too close to it, yeah. And we can pray, we can write, we can ask for help. For whoever we work with, however we work with it, ask for help. Please help me see what I need to let go of. Please help me see my patterns. Please help me see what's unconscious to me. Please help me, and look around, look at the mirrors, all the people around us, all the relationships we have. If you're wondering about your own patterns, look at your relationships. We draw in our own energies. We can see the mirrors when we look at, my husband, my ex-husband, I would like to project a lot, like, oh, you, it's all you. But then when I really come down and think about it, it's just like, okay, hold on a minute. What am I seeing in him that's actually a reflection of myself? And when I could remember to do that and start looking at it and go, it drives me nuts when he does that, but now I can see how I am doing that exact same thing over here. It might look a little different, but it's the same thing that's driving me nuts. So he was there to show me what I needed to see. So if you're wondering about your patterns and your stuff, look at the people around you. Look at the people you've brought in. They're there to teach you lessons. They are the mirror for you. That's one way to work with this, to bring those to the conscious. And it takes a lot of work because it's hard to see it. But if there's something, that's it. If you're getting triggered by something or somebody around you, that's the nugget right there. That's the thing. That's the thing you've got to look at. If you're really like, oh, that drives me nuts, you got to stop and go, why is that driving me nuts? It's a reflection of something that's going on within me. It's my own reactivity. Something in me needs to be, looked at there. So I am working a little bit on keeping my videos a little bit smaller, but we're at 27 minutes right now. I feel like I've said what I need to say, but it's just exciting to be working with this addiction energy that's just ready to go. I'm freaking over it. I'm not going to live my life in shame or guilt. I don't care how little it is. I'm just fucking done with it. Oh, there's the F word. Haha. That one just slipped right out. I was not thinking. So that's what's going on right now. We're in really powerful times right now. It's so amazing. The more we can let go, the more we can utilize these eclipse energies, and so much of the astrology. It's not like this is the only chance. I mean, it's just happening. We are in it. We are really deep in it, and we're gonna be supported by the universe. We're supported by the astrology. The planets are our energies. We look at them externally, but it's our energy. The sun is our energy. The earth is our energy. It's not out there. Pluto, we think of it as out there, but it's just a way for us to connect, to look at, again, there's the mirror, there's the mirror. What are the energies of Pluto that are running through you? Because we're made of all this. Everything's connected. Everything is connected. All these planets in your birth chart, that's your energy, It's just a way for our minds to conceptualize and work with it. That's how we work as humans. We need to see the outside, hence the mirrors, hence the people around us, the deities, the things that we pray to. It's us. That's our energies, the angels we're connecting with. It's our frequencies. We just need to have something external. We need to externalize it so we can work with it better. But just remember that. Just remember that. All these energies are us. So these planetary energies that it's part of our evolution. It's our consciousness. It's here. It's time. It's time to level up. It's time to step on up. So all of these energies in us are supporting us to let go. And the more we can just let it flow and not resist, the quicker we're gonna like elevate and move right on through. That's not to say it's not challenging. And some of this stuff, I've been in it the last week. You know that I haven't really posted many videos because I've just been like deep in my stuff, but now I've had a breakthrough and I'm ready to like, whew, let it go, and let it move through. But I was in some stuff. So now and all these messages are coming through now. I can see like what I'm really working with. So yeah, just the more consciously you can work with these energies, and find astrologers that you like. I share some on my channel here, people that really inspire me. I get so much from them, and they really help us to work with this energy consciously and to move through it. I'm not an astrologer, but I follow it so closely, because it's helped me so much to understand my own energies and how they're moving. So, and that's part of this time that we're in too. That's part of the awakening, the awareness, like, okay, let's work with these energies in a more conscious way. So, all right, I'm just going to start repeating myself now. You give me a platform and I just go for it. So thank you all for being here. Another way, I'll just give a little plug right now to work with this energy is energy healing, sound healing, which is what I do, my sessions. So I don't think I talk about that enough, but that's what I do. So this is an extremely powerful time to be working with the energies and clearing them. So let me know when you're ready for a session. You can reach out to me, email through my website. You can contact me or just schedule on my website, And yeah, let's let go of some of this stuff that's holding us back, Let's utilize these energies and let them help us move through in a really big, powerful way. That's what these eclipses are. That's what eclipses are for. That's what they do. It's not like they're for that. They just do that. So let's work with it to the best of our ability. So check out my website for more. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the little notification bell, because strange algorithms I just discovered on Facebook. You have to do the same thing for groups that you're in. You have to click like, yes, please notify me that groups are posting. So anyway, I don't know. I'll never understand social media and exactly how it works, but I'm sure there's good logic and reason to all of it, right? Okay, beautiful, sacred feminines. I see you. I care for you. I love you. I cherish you. I'm so grateful that we're in this together, and I'm thrilled to be here supporting the process for all of us and helping us to move through it. So that's my jam. It's all like, I'm just so aligned with that. So thanks again for being here. Sending you so much love, and happy eclipse season to you. Let it go. Journal, release, burn it. After you're done, do ritual, pray, dance, move your body, get it out. Get it out. There. Bye all.